The news didn't creep into San Francisco quietly. It exploded across timelines like a cannon shot fired from Levi's Stadium. Phones buzzed with breaking alerts. ESPN plastered it on the ticker in bold red. And fans flooded social media in disbelief. 49ers lock in Colton McKivitz on a $45 million extension. For most casual NFL fans, the name might not have carried the shine of a Patrick Mahomes or a Christian McCaffrey. But for the faithful of the Bay Area, this was no small headline. This was the announcement that one of the most overlooked, underestimated, and underappreciated figures in their offensive line had just become one of the most valuable. The reactions, however, couldn't have been more split at a sports bar in Santa Clara. A group of fans cheered, raising pints in celebration. One man in a red and gold jersey shouted, "Finally! Protect Purdy! Protect our future!" Across the room, another fan scoffed, shaking his head. $45 million? For McKivitz? We're throwing money at a role player, not a star. This is insanity. That split captured the essence of the shockwave. Jubilation mixed with skepticism, the rise no one saw coming to understand the weight of the deal. You have to rewind to Colton McKivitz's beginnings. Drafted in the 5th round back in 2020, he wasn't a headline pick. He wasn't the guy people circled in mock drafts or the player fans rushed to buy jerseys for. He was labeled developmental, a solid body, maybe a backup, perhaps a plug-in when injuries struck. But McKivitz had something no scouting report could measure: stubborn resilience. Year after year, he clawed his way up the depth chart. He studied, he grinded, he learned from Trent Williams, the gold standard of left tackles. And when opportunity came, he didn't just fill a hole. He stood tall. When the line faltered, he steadied it. When defenses attacked, he absorbed the blows. Slowly, fans who barely knew his name began to recognize his number. And by the 2023 season, McKivitz had become the unsung wall on the right side, the man standing between Brock Purdy and disaster. The contract shock, that's why the $45 million headline landed like thunder. For the faithful, it was proof that the 49ers were serious about protecting their future. But for critics, it looked like reckless spending. Talk shows lit up. On First Take, Stephen A. Smith leaned forward, eyes blazing. "Listen, I respect Colton McKivitz. He's solid. He's dependable. But $45 million? We're talking about Trent Williams' money light. Are we sure this guy deserves it? Are we absolutely certain?" Skip Bayless, never one to hold back, scoffed on FS1. "This is panic. This is desperation. The Niners just mortgaged their flexibility for a player most fans couldn't pick out of a lineup." But Shannon Sharpe pushed back. "Hold up, Skip. Offensive lines win championships. You don't protect Purdy. You don't get Debo, Aiyuk, or CMC the ball. McKivitz might not be flashy, but he's the backbone. Pay the man." The debate raged across America. Was this contract a visionary move to secure stability, or an overpayment that would haunt San Francisco's future cap? Inside the locker room inside the 49ers facility, the news hit differently. Teammates congratulated McKivitz, some clapping him on the back, others joking that he now had to pick up the bill at team dinners. But beneath the laughter was something else: awareness. Everyone knew that big money shifts dynamics. It wasn't jealousy, it was business. Brandon Aiyuk, fighting for his own payday, surely noticed. Young players chasing future contracts surely noticed. And whispers began. If McKivitz gets $45 million, what does that mean for me? Head coach Kyle Shanahan brushed it aside in interviews, smiling as always. "Colton earned this. He's consistent. He's tough. He fits what we do. We don't make decisions based on noise. We make decisions to win." But even Shanahan knew. Every dollar spent on McKivitz was a dollar not spent elsewhere. And in a team loaded with stars, that mattered. The biggest twist came hours later, when insiders leaked the real reason behind the urgency of the deal. Reports revealed that rival teams, including the Jets and the Bengals, had quietly been sniffing around McKivitz, ready to make a run at him if the 49ers hesitated. That revelation reframed the story completely. What looked like an overpay now seemed like a preemptive strike. San Francisco hadn't just rewarded their guy, they had blocked their rivals from poaching him. Suddenly, fans began to see it differently. Maybe this wasn't desperation. Maybe this was chess, not checkers. WY nightfall. Hashtags flooded Twitter. Hashtag faithful to the wall. Hashtag Niners big bet. hashtag McKivitz money, and across San Francisco. The city buzzed with one burning question. Had the 49ers just secured the wall that would carry them to a Super Bowl, or had they gambled $45 million on a man who might crumble under the spotlight? Because for Colton McKivitz, the contract wasn't just money. It was a crown. And now, he had to prove he could wear it. The sun rose over San Francisco the morning after Colton McKivitz's $45 million deal, but the city's mood hadn't settled. If anything, it had grown louder, heavier, more divided. For one side of the fanbase, the 49ers front office had secured a key pillar, a man who had gone from backup to protector of Brock Purdy's blind side. For the other, it was a reckless overspend, a bet on a lineman many outsiders still dismissed as average. The headlines spoke for themselves. San Francisco Chronicle, McKivitz Moneyball, Genius or Gamble? ESPN, 49ers shock the market with $45 million lineman deal. Fox Sports, panic move or perfect timing? Every sports show had McKivitz's face on screen. Analysts who had never once mentioned him in years were suddenly screaming over each other about his worth. Stephen A. Smith declared, "He's the most important player nobody talked about until now. Without McKivitz, Purdy doesn't stay upright. Without McKivitz, that offense collapses. He's worth it. Period." Skip Bayless rolled his eyes, his voice sharp. $45 million? For Colton McKivitz? This is insanity. The 49ers just tied their Super Bowl window to a guy nobody outside of the Bay Area even knows. And so the debate grew. But debates were easy. The real tension was inside the building. In the 49ers locker room, the reaction was layered. Some players congratulated McKivitz, clapping him on the back, joking about him, buying steak dinners for a year. But others, quietly, muttered about timing. Brandon Aiyuk, still locked in tense contract talks, had already voiced frustration with the front office. Now, seeing McKivitz get locked in before him, he scrolled his phone in silence. Later, when asked by a reporter if McKivitz's extension sent a message, Aiyuk smirked and said only, "Yeah, it sends a message." That comment went viral instantly. Is Aiyuk calling out the front office? Fans tweeted, "Did the 49ers choose McKivitz over Aiyuk?" The whispers grew louder. The money pie was shrinking, and McKivitz had taken a big slice. Kyle Shanahan tried to shut it down in practice. Standing at midfield, he told reporters, "We don't compare contracts in this building. Colton earned his deal. Brandon will get his. Everybody's time comes." But in the NFL, promises without signatures mean nothing. Rivals, meanwhile, were merciless. Seahawks fans flooded social media with memes of McKivitz missing blocks. Rams fans mocked, $45M for a turnstile? Thanks for making our job easier. Even some Chiefs. Insiders leaked that they had sniffed around McKivitz, but never planned to pay him anywhere near that. And then came the twist. An insider report from NFL Network claimed the 49ers didn't just extend McKivitz because they wanted to. They did it because they had to. At least 3 playoff contenders, the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Chiefs, were circling with offers. San Francisco jumped first, paying more than expected to keep him. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. This wasn't generosity. This was desperation. A panic move disguised as confidence. The season opener was circled on every calendar. Sunday Night Football. 49ers versus Cowboys. The perfect storm. For Dallas, Micah Parsons was waiting, the league's most feared pass rusher. For San Francisco, the entire $45 million debate came down to one man, Colton McKivitz. Could he hold back the storm? Levi's Stadium pulsed with tension. Fans waved red flags. The noise thundered, but beneath it all was unease. The camera zoomed in on McKivitz, crouched in his stance, sweat glistening under the lights. Every snap felt like destiny. First quarter, Parsons exploded off the line. McKivitz mirrored him step for step, planting his feet, anchoring deep. Purdy delivered a strike to Deebo Samuel. The crowd roared. Second quarter, Parsons tried a spin move. McKivitz shoved him wide, slamming him into the turf. The stadium erupted. Sewell-Tion. Sewell-Tion. But the third quarter brought the heart-stopping moment. Parsons lined up wide, burst forward, and for a split second, beat McKivitz to the edge. Purdy dropped back, blindside exposed. The entire stadium gasped, but McKivitz lunged, stretched, and shoved Parsons just enough to send him off balance. Purdy scrambled, found Aiyuk deep, and connected for a 40-yard touchdown. The stadium exploded. The sideline mobbed Purdy, but cameras caught Shanahan sprinting to McKivitz, slapping his helmet, shouting, "That's why we paid you." By the fourth quarter, McKivitz was a wall. Parsons, visibly frustrated, slammed his helmet after another failed rush. Fans on Twitter, once mocking, now tweeted, $45 bargain. Colton McKivitz is him. Best extension in the league. When the clock hit 0, the 49ers had crushed Dallas 31-17. Purdy threw for 3 touchdowns. 0 sacks allowed from McKivitz's side. Post-game, McKivitz stood at the podium, voice steady, eyes calm. "I'm just doing my job. I'm grateful to be here, and I'll keep proving it." But everyone knew it was more than just a job. That night, McKivitz hadn't just blocked Parsons. He had silenced critics, vindicated his contract, and given the 49ers hope that maybe, just maybe, they hadn't gambled after all. Still, the whispers wouldn't die. Rival fans still mocked. Analysts still warned of regression. And Brandon Aiyuk? He posted a cryptic tweet. "Remember who opens up the game." The story was far from over. But one thing was certain. The $45 million man had turned his first test into a statement. And in San Francisco, where dynasties are built on legends, Colton McKivitz had just written the first line of his own.